Kia ora, friends. Welcome back to Erico Blueberry, an unassuming Destiny podcast. This is now episode 23. I did the math before this, 4 resets away from Witch Queen. We are some, 3 hours away from a new Pokemon game dropping, so that's probably what I'm doing. But that's getting ahead of myself. My name is chillybin.
Hello, I'm Meckii.
Welcome back to the show, to you and to you. I've got this beer that looks like some bad apple juice. What's going on with you?
Not much. I'm a ginge now.
Yes.
That's about
Welcome.
it.
I'm wearing this hat and headphones. You can see this little, triangle of my hair. I'm keeping it hidden because you've taken all my power. You've taken all of me.
Culturally appropriating gingers.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't going to say it. I'm glad that you did. At least you're aware of what you're doing.
I am. I want the fashionability of being ginger, but I want none of the stereotype or stigma of existing in that minority group.
Okay, but you're willing to live with not having a soul and all of the baggage that comes with it.
Oh baby, I sold that years ago. That's why I still look 25 at 30.
There we go. Okay, so you were like in the grad program for this lifestyle. What is this? I don't know.
Just self-reads from both of us.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a show about Destiny, a video game. I had this hat turn up since last episode, and I quite like it. It's my favorite style of hat, as you call it, the dad hat. Bungie still calls it a camper hat, and I'm not sure which I like least. Least? What is my mouth doing?
What are words? How do you speak?
What that mouth do? Also with this was the banner that they made for putting pins and seals through. That I've got lying on the floor next to me with heavy things on it because it was pretty...
It's all crumpy.
Well, it was rolled up in the packaging and it's taking a while to get it to stay flat before I hang it up. What I might do is just hang that really heavy 30th anniversary pin on the bottom of it and just basically stretch that thing out. But yeah, that's ready to go. I actually have, so I have the 4 Grimoire hardcover books that have come out today. I have all of those because I bought the first one and then I was like, well, I got to keep the collection going, and they kept bringing them out. I have all 4 of those stacked up, sitting on it, holding it flat on one end. So it's a very Destiny room in here.
As piece of life advice to you and also anyone else who might get a pennant banner, it's like a cottony material, yeah?
It's more like felt, kind of stuck. Like it's a bit thicker because it's designed to put pins into.
I used to I still have a bunch of them and I still occasionally do buy them. I used to collect banners and pennant flags.
Right.
And a lot of vintage material,
the
stuff
long,
like
sort
that.
Of triangular shape, right?
Yeah, and embroidery. Watered down vinegar, just a light spray of that helps break down the starch.
Interesting.
Life advice for
people
who buy the flag and might have issues flattening it. Just a watered down 1-to-1 mix of vinegar. You don't have to saturate it, just enough to break the starches down.
Spritz. Okay, I'll see how the Grimoire books do.
Please don't sue me if it fucks with it, because I haven't been able to actually look at the material.
Maybe this is the one time I'll venture back into a Destiny subreddit, is to see if there's any tips related to this particular product. But anyway, it's on the floor. I'm ready to put my pins in it. The trick now is whether or not I can find enough of the pin backs to actually mount them on there.
The locking ones?
Yeah, even just the ones that came with the pins in the first place, because I took them off and then just jammed those things into the display board, essentially, because you don't need to put them in the back. You just stick them in. And I'm pretty sure I still have them because I kept all the boxes that those seal pins came in, because they're really nice boxes. They're like jewelry boxes, in a sense. And I basically just left all the pin backs in them, thinking I'll probably need these at some point, without actually putting them in their own little storage thing. So now what I have to do is actually go and find all of the boxes from the seals and then find the pin backs within. If not, I have a pin collection from a different thing, and I'm sure I have some excess pin backs lying around, some of which are locking. That might
Some
be
of them are locking, but even
Mm.
then, if it's the thing I'm thinking of, the rubberized ones that come with them
they're
are
pretty
also
good.
pretty good.
But also, it's it's going to be hanging on my wall stationary. It's not like it's jostling around on
It's not going to be
clothing
on a
or a
backpack
backpack.
or a
Yeah,
lanyard.
so it doesn't necessarily need locking backs. Anyway,
We'll figure it out.
maybe by next episode I'll have it hanging in that spot of blank wall behind me. That's where I'm planning to put it. At
Oh,
least
to live in a house where you can hang things.
to live in a state where they let you, and that shit is enshrined in law. Yeah, real nice.
I also got a delivery that is Bungie.
Did you?
Yeah. It's a gift from a clan member
Oh,
that I'm not allowed to
yeah.
open until they're back from their trip.
That's right. Which is I think it's on Monday.
The 31st, yeah.
Yes. Have you made a time to do that?
No, so
Okay.
they said they'd prefer I open it in a video call.
Okay.
So we'll probably do a video call in the server.
Very good. How big the box?
It's pretty big.
Yeah, because you sent me like a snap or something of it, but it was hard to put that in perspective.
It's pretty big.
Okay.
It feels like the pod can't see it, but you've seen them in the past. The bottom shelf of my display shelf that's behind me for streams.
Oh damn!
It fits into the bottom shelf of that, so it's quite high and quite long.
Okay.
And this person has a history of nailing gifts for everyone in the clan, so I'm very excited.
I mean, he organized a birthday present for me once that was the Lego Technics Fast and the Furious Dom Toretto's Dodge Charger, and it was just like the most fucking precision strike gift I think I've gotten a long time.
He was very proud of that. He sent that out to everyone who contributed and was like, "Hey, I think I found it." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, you did."
Yeah. He and I went and got a kebab, and then he handed it to me from the boot of his car. It felt like a bootleg deal. Anyway, we're starting to drift off topic. This is a Destiny show.
As we do.
This was all relatively adjacent. We were going to start with, there was a PC Gamer article from this week that I only saw because I clocked a couple of Twitter accounts pulling quotes and interesting tidbits out of it. I think you've read more of it than I have. I sort of skimmed it just to see where the fucking Kermit the Frog quote was coming from, which was basically the parts of the world in Witch Queen are so swampy and gross that they didn't want to go down the Kermit on a log aesthetic. That I think is where that was coming from. But the title of the article,
to Joe Blackburn.
Yeah, Destiny 2 director on building your own guns in the Witch Queen. There was some other quote in there.
And
but
it's
so they were talking
the Witch Queen, you're okay and are okay with being able to craft whatever version you want or something like that.
Yeah, it was heavily focused on, well, as much as they can without giving the game away, heavily focused on weapon crafting and their ambitions and plans around how they deliver story and what their hopes are for the campaign with Witch Queen. But anyway, you've pulled a bunch of stuff out here, so why don't you kind of take the reins here for a minute?
I mean, it's like the twabs. Everyone's gonna pull something that resonates or clicks with them or piques their interest. They're always gonna have their own little thing that I might have missed.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there's a few. These are specifically quotes. Because it's just easier to read it off in Joe Blackburn's words instead of trying to interpret it. He's made it very clear with some of the stuff.
He's usually quite transparent and clear on the messaging he puts out there.
He's also very good at giving away hints without giving away big things too, which as a director you would hope.
Yeah.
So these are kind of in order as I read them in the article. The first one they jumped in on mostly was, I think the thing that's piqued everyone's interest is the crafting system. So what he said was crafting is about finally delivering the fantasy that you can make the gun you've always wanted. And we want you to feel like you went on a journey to get there, because by the time you're able to make the exact god roll that you want, you'll have the ability to make all versions of that gun that you want. So it's really a long-term pursuit with a weapon. And we think if you're willing to spend that amount of time with a gun, we're okay with you being able to craft whatever version you want.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think that was kind of set up with like a concession that crafting has the potential to break balance.
Imbalance,
right?
yeah.
And so I can't imagine the challenge of trying to like introduce a weapon crafting system without breaking what has been a pretty carefully balanced game to date.
I think the way I thought about it today is I was like, I think this whole god roll argument and god roll, not an argument, but discourse, relies on everyone playing the same. Because, like, what is one person's god roll is a piece of shit to someone else and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, my god roll auto rifle, my god roll gnawing hunger, is not the one that the community is like, this is the god roll. Yeah. It's the god roll for how I play as a warlock. And it's the same with, like, I've got a... Oh, good. Chrysalis?
Chrysura Mallow?
Yeah.
The, like, current season auto rifle?
Yeah.
It's a solo one, yeah.
Yeah. My god roll for that is not the god roll that forums and people on Twitter are saying, this is the god roll. And it's the same as, like, Zur or Banshee or someone has had a god roll of a weapon and I've gone and picked it up and not liked it at all.
Yeah.
And I think we need to kind of get out of this locked in binary idea of what a god roll is, because everyone plays different.
That's such a good point. Like, I will check like what Zur has, because often he'll have like 65, 67 stat roll exotics, and that's just a good thing to pick up. Like, regardless of, I mean, if the stat distribution's fucked, like, yeah, sure, don't grab it. But generally, if something's got, if an exotic has 67 stats to begin with, you can masterwork that piece of armor past 100 if you're using like the charge with light stuff that gives you plus 20 on a stat. And that can really help if you're trying to like push certain stats up. I feel like we need a new term that is not god roll, because god roll to me implies the one true best version of a thing, right?
Yeah,
that's usually how it's used.
It's always been too binary of a discourse for me. Binary is the only way I can really put my feeling on it, because it's just this is the best for everyone all the time.
Yeah.
This is the role, and it's like
it's too absolute, right? Like I never fuck with, like, to use an example from my own play style, I never fucked with fusion rifles until this season when, thanks to particle deconstruction, they're huge. My preferred, generally, if anything uses special ammo, and this is definitely the case for fusion rifles, my preferred preferred perk is to have one of them be lead from gold. Because I don't want to have to try and balance two different sets of ammo finders and scavs, because I want to be able to get heavy and special ammo in that case. So my usual trick is to build all the ammo finders around the heavy that I'm running and run lead from gold if I'm running special, so that heavy ammo gives me green. Gives me special, rather. So my current like fusion rifle build with particle decon is Sleeper Sim or Reed's Regret, with like some pretty decent stats on the Reeds, but it's more just for damage numbers. And then it's a Cartesian coordinate with lead from gold and Swashbuckler. Because I'm running mid-tree Solar Titan, which is heavily based around melee, so I'm getting throwing hammer kills, building up stacks of Swashbuckler with the fusion rifle, which boosts weapon and melee damage, and it just is this nice little cycle, right?
Yeah.
And that is one of my preferred ways to play PvE currently, and that will change.
Yeah. And
yeah,
that's another element to it too, is like guns that I would consider a personal god roll for myself. I don't use in certain builds. Now that we've got that more build crafting kind of angle coming in, and the way things have been changing, like, that's not anymore. Like, my god roll auto rifle, my god roll Gnawing Hunger, which I've had since day one essentially, is multi kill clip, Zen moment, and corkscrew rifling.
Right.
And that's
very different to mine, which is subsistence rampage. Because if you're in a room full of like dregs, you can just mow them down without having to reload.
Yeah, but you know, and then I've got the masterworked version, so my reload speed is 70, for example, handling 71. And my rounds per minute 600.
Yeah, well, that doesn't change.
That's boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, because I'm not a super, and then I throw stuff like backup mag, and depending on what I'm doing, the other slot is usually interchangeable between like stuff for champions or
Yeah.
Because at the moment, auto rifles are anti-barrier. So if I throw a champion mod in there too, it's
Well, that goes on your arms,
yeah.
not on the weapon itself.
Well, with it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I don't always use that Gnawing Hunger.
Yeah.
I've got other assault rifles that I swap out quite regularly.
Yeah. One of my
like cold front. Like my god roll cold front is surrounded, quick draw, and extended barrel.
Yeah, surrounded and quick draw is a very interesting build for an SMG. Because you're usually up close. And you usually are switching to it in a panic.
Yeah, and I use it close quarters more than anything. So it's like...
Whereas, yeah, like one of my favorite things to do is get a bow with sympathetic arsenal and then run some heavy that's got a super long reload time. Because a bow, instant reload. So if you get a kill with it, get a new arrow ready. You have to wait like, I don't know, half a second for that animation to play out. And then all your weapons are reloaded. It's stupid. Like if you're running something like Galahorn, Sleeper Sim, or you know, one of those heavies where it just takes ages to reload manually. Xenophage, perfect combo with Xeno, because it's just such a long animation. But you can just, you know, hit a bow kill on a Scion or a Dreg. Cool, Xeno's reloaded, let's go. And it's such a fun trick, but you know.
See, my comfort bow is an arsenic bite with explosive head and dragonfly.
That's a good time.
It goes
such a
pop,
good
pop,
time.
pop, pop, pop.
Oh yeah, dragonfly spec on there too. Yeah.
My wolf tone draw is dragonfly, sneak bone, and agile drawstring.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't play very in your face, so I don't use shotguns and I don't use stuff like that. So I look for mid to long range weaponry, and then something that I can grab real quick and reload real quick when I get in the actual scrap.
Yeah.
Because my main concern for a lot of raids and a lot of activities is dropping rifts, wells, and overshields.
Yeah.
So I'm usually back around you guys anyway, or if you need help or you need an overshield or a rift or a well, you're more in the fray. So I'll quickly change to an SMG or something with quick draw and surrounded while I'm on the way to you or on the way to plant a well, knowing that I've got a plant in the middle of shit. So
yeah.
My god rolls and how I use my rolls are going to be dramatically different from someone who plays PvP full time or mostly.
Yeah, that's like I understand the utility of marking something as like, here's the gold roll for PvP currently, and saying like, but also talking about why, right? Like, why do these perks matter for PvP? Why these weapons? Why this fire rate? There's a meaningful conversation there because it's a tool.
It's education.
It's a tool that's most suited to the task at hand. If you explain that to someone, they can take that knowledge and then apply it to the way that they play, the weapons they like, the weapons they have, and go, okay, how would I solve that problem with this build that I have, right? You know, a lot of people say like, yeah, if you're running snipers, it's got to have snapshot, but what about something else? You know, if you're playing elimination, is firing line a better perk because that relies on people being near you? I don't actually remember what that perk does, but I know that that's one of those perks that if you've got people close enough to you on your team, in your fire team, it buffs you in some way, right? So yeah, it's tough because like I want that conversation to exist of someone who's good at PvP telling me why this role is good for PvP so that I can do something with that knowledge. But what I don't want is someone saying, you should be using this gun because it's the best thing you can use in this thing. Everything else is trash. That's usually where it comes in, right?
Where it starts to go.
So yeah. We'll see how that shifts with weapon crafting. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can just stop using the phrase God roll. I don't know what I'm going to say in its place. Might just be like some awkward phrase of like, this is my preferred or ideal role. I don't know. My God roll feels weird.
Johnny Cash it and be like, this is my own personal Jesus role.
Oh, that's good. That's
personal
good.
Jesus role.
Welcome to the Church of Gnawing Hunger. All other auto rifles will be damned to hell.
No.
Actually, I've got a 7 carbine with
I was going to say,
something.
I'm a auto rifle
nasty.
simp.
Yeah.
So most auto rifles are okay by me.
Yes.
My default, except for some reason lately I've been using a lot of bows.
Yeah, okay.
Don't know why. Just out of nowhere, I was like, yo, bows are fun.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's bow.
Pulse rifles and thanks, Dad. Pulse rifles and
Dad jokes. Come on. Yeah.
Pulse rifles and auto rifles, and then usually, I mean, you called me for it the other day, but using Xeno as a crutch. Because Xeno is my default, so I've been looking at other things like reeds, and then I've been using Ascendancy a lot. I've got a Masterworked Ascendancy.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you got Gjallarhorn, right? Like, if you're using a rocket launcher.
It's really but sometimes I need that exotic slot somewhere else.
Yes, very true.
So Ascendancy is fun, and then
it's
no apparent. Yeah, exactly, and it's kind of nasty in Gambit and stuff like that. And then for no reason out of nowhere, recently I've started having a lot of fun with Whisper and Salvation's Grip again for heavy.
Wait, Salvation's Grip?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like freezing a bitch.
I can't remember the last time someone that I know used it that wasn't in the quest that needs it.
No, because it's really fun, like landing it in a group of ads and then popping the crystal and just popping all the ads around it.
I was like clicking around Destiny 2 on Twitch recently, and someone was doing some like raid teaching, like sherpering people through, and they were doing the gatekeeper encounter. And the like minotaurs that come through that you need the shield to deal with, they were using Salvation's Grip to stop that motherfucker coming down the stairs. They were just freezing him out and being like, you can't move.
And
all right, okay.
I've been using I keep going to call it salvos, but there's salvo which is
salvo as well.
Yeah. Salvations. I've been using that to like freeze champions. So I can pop them.
Yeah.
Or disrupt them.
That's pretty good.
Especially if I've got something like an overload bow, which isn't as quick to pop them.
Yeah.
You just freeze them in place. Especially when you're doing lost sectors.
That is a
Might
good
even
point.
come in handy in a raid.
Don't make me think about using Salvation's Grip again.
I could in VOG, I could freeze that overload minotaur in the
freeze
doorway.
Up the doorway. Just not coming in. Not in those shoes, pal.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, I've been kind of perfecting my stasis build lately.
Nice. Okay.
It's been really aggressive and really mean.
Yeah.
Someone in the clan played with me a little bit the other night. We did some gambit and stuff, and he described it as, Meckii, you are mean.
Okay. Yeah. I've had some moments like that, like discovering the bubble inside the invasion portal maneuver, and there was some other shit like that where I was just like, I think when I was running Deafening Whisper a lot, that was pretty nasty because I got pretty good with landing those shots, especially from a distance. So actually shout out to Presage for teaching me the value of Deafening Whisper, a wave frame grenade launcher. Because I was cleaning up with that thing. It's so good. And having one with Rampage is gross.
Yeah.
It did a lot of lifting for me actually when we were initially doing Vault of Glass. Like in Atheon, because we're on that left side. You've got that like narrow walkway towards the stairs. Just harpies just trickling forward. I was just like, dunk, dunk, and they were just like dropping. So good.
That's it, right? Now I wanna fuck with Salvation's next bog run. I'm just gonna announce it and be like, "Yo, guys, I'm gonna try something.
Yo, you want
Bear with me."
You want to
And if
hit
it
that
doesn't
icy
work,
grip?
if it doesn't work, I'll go back to Xeno. But like, just I need to try this.
You just gotta hit him with that gorilla grip. That's what I'm saying.
Gorilla grip. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck the god roll discourse.
Yeah, and I think once
Yeah, no, okay. Here's what we do. I'm gonna be like, no, this is the chili roll, or you're gonna say this is the Meckii roll, and then everyone's gonna be like, yeah, okay, that's yours.
That's it, right?
Chili roll sounds bad though. I don't like that. Chili bin roll. I've got to go full handle.
The bin roll.
Bin roll. Bin roll is good. That's what I'm doing. The chili roll.
I hope with the weapon crafting, and then also on top of that, they've said that that he confirmed basically that the light subclasses are going to get the stasis treatment, and obviously Void 2.0 is the beginning of that.
Void 3 or 2?
3.0.
3.
Void. Yes. Void plus.
Yes. Void next.
Third tier sub void.
Oh.
Once that's all done with the light classes, they're going to start introducing new darkness subclasses.
Yeah.
So once again, the discourse around between weapon crafting and the new subclass updates and the new subclass systems that they're introducing, the aspect system, the discourse about god rolls on all of armor and weapons is going to start to shift again, because it is going to become like so personal to each guardian, which feels great. Like that's really excellent that you could have. Like, I don't care about character customization. I know a lot of people are like, let me change my character's haircut, like whatever.
There's some valid reasons for that, but
I get that. I have a terrible mohawk on my warlock. Like it's cringe as shit. That's why I never take my helmet off. But I don't really mind if I can have that much flexibility with my build.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you see your warlock or your character when you're in the tower, maybe, but a lot of people I've noticed don't take their helmets off in the tower anyway. They have the helmet always on.
I do, because I'm like, I might as well at some point, and social spaces is the only place you can, and like cutscenes as well.
Yeah. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's a game about shooting and space shit and magic.
Don't
so
take
it's
it
like
too seriously.
I would prefer in-depth building, weapon customization and nuanced.
Yeah, I think
options when it comes to subclasses, weapons, and ammo. Then I would a new haircut.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is going to be how does the community, how do we as players start communicating about what our build is, right? Like, there's so many more points of variability. Like, if I was to talk to you right now about a stasis build, I would have to go into each of the aspects I've chosen. And then for each of them, maybe I've got like 4 or 5 fragment slots. So which ones of those have I chosen? Which grenade am I using? Which melee am I using?
Yeah, I'm sure if not already out there, there will be an API or extractor.
Yeah, no, there is. Like, I've been
pull all that data so that you can be like, here's my build. Here's a 1-page explanation of my build.
Yeah, I know that, because I've been watching the updates from Braytech on Twitter with like things he's fucking around with. Because I think recently he's built a way to like visualize stasis subclasses in Braytech, but it took a whole bunch of work. But that information is available through the API. But I think that's what it is, right? Because you can't just say, bottom tree solar. You know what that is. You'd have to go, well, I'm these 2 aspects and these 4 like, it's so much more information you need to communicate.
I'm sure eventually a third-party community project will come out where you can just go to a website, click on your character, and it'll pull like basically a fact sheet, maybe.
Yeah, so like Outriders has solved this. like if you go into the Outriders subreddit, for example, you'll see images that are basically just like one big page landscape layout, and it's got like guns and abilities and all the stuff you've chosen kind of like laid out so that you can see it all at a glance. But I wonder more for like, casual conversation. And I say this only because I've just gotten into Magic the Gathering. You would say something like, in Magic the Gathering parlance, like, playing a mill deck. Like you build up words for archetypes of what your build is. So it might be like, I play a stasis melee warlock, and that gives you a hint of like, okay, so your aspects are probably these, the fragments are likely these because they boost melee stats and cooldowns and whatever.
Yeah.
So it might be that sort of language shift.
Until recently, it was as simple as bottom tree warlock.
Exactly.
Bottom tree void warlock. Mid tree solar.
Yeah.
At the moment, the only way I explain my stasis build, unless someone wants to go into detail, is I think it's just turret, explosive rift, stasis warlock.
Yeah. And that's it. Like you build up the keywords. I'm so excited to see what Void 3.0 looks like, because that not only gives us a bunch of new shit to play with, but gives us a glimpse into what's likely to come with Solar and Arc, in terms of the systems that they're trying to make them fit now.
I'm also interested because each subclass has its own like individual kind of naming conventions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like Void revolves a lot around antimatter and nova and that kind of concept of space.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arc is obviously electrical based, and Solar uses a lot of Latin words for the sun and things associated with the sun. And then obviously Stasis has a lot of things to do with crystallization and dark elements. So I'm really curious to see when it comes to the aspects, how they grow on those themes too, as like a bit of a nerd for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For lore stuff and like world building stuff. I'm also very excited to see what names they come up with for each of the aspects.
Yeah, because they are named things like aspect of X, aspect of Y. I wonder what. Yeah, we're not going to start speculating on.
I think it'd be a lot of fun, just to see what they name stuff.
Yes. Anyway, that's kind of that was only the first point you put in here about like crafting, god roll, build crafting more generally.
Yeah.
What else?
The damage type, which we brought in quickly there. They described the Witch Queen's world as a bayou. So they pulled a lot from bayou and swamp.
Yeah.
Which is like, bayou is a very nostalgic, sentimental kind of thing for me. So like the Louisiana Bayou in New Orleans and Deep South and that kind of energy where it is very mossy and dark and humid and tightly packed. Because I think when people think swamp, they don't think closely packed trees that are partially submerged and dark, murky water. I think a lot of people think more of wetlands than they do swamps.
Sure. Okay.
Unless they're from areas with like bayous.
Yeah.
And then they described the different aspects of the throne world kind of as bubbles. So there is the bayou bubble.
Yo, we talking about Minecraft biomes here or what?
Yeah, basically. Felt like he was trying to avoid the word, but he kept calling it bubbles.
We got crafting, we got biomes. Welcome to Destiny Minecraft.
Destiny, let me farm, you cowards. You'd never see me. You'd never see me. You just come visit my little farm and just be like, "You gonna go do this nightfall?" I'm like, "No."
You've captured a Hive Guardian, and now he's cooking you bread on the rig.
I'm gonna ride animals and sing the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song in Destiny as well.
Yes.
But so he said like bubbles, but I guess he means biomes, kind of.
Yeah.
But basically he described that like the whole throne world is going to have a cohesive theme going through it, but there are going to be distinctive areas where there's a slight art change shift.
Okay.
So he said like Savathûn's quote unquote castle is big and white and hive-like and a bowl. Like it's very distinctive.
Yeah, that's a lot of the like key art we've seen so far.
Yeah, and then the other area is very obviously going to be a bayou, and it's going to be swampy and muggy and
Yeah, I
slow.
think that was
and
the part they were talking
close
about.
quarters.
Like, we don't want this to
Kermit
just
on a
look like
log.
Kermit's fucking bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah, so they said they took a lot of inspiration from real world bayous. So
Right.
they're pulling a lot of real world kind of aspects, and then Destiny,
Yeah.
like getting the art team on it and being like, make it feel like Destiny now.
Yeah.
And then he said like, and then there's another part of it that feels like Venus, like these are going to be very distinct areas. So at any one point, you know where you are.
Mm.
There's none of that. Like he used an example of actually loading into Venus and kind of being like, okay, so which part of
Yeah.
Venus
I
am
mean,
I on again?
to be fair, I don't remember Venus because it's been a while since D1.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And I
like
feel
I
like,
find that actually today I loaded into the Cosmodrome and there were parts where I was like, okay, I set a like waypoint to a public event, but I was like, I don't know which part of the Cosmodrome I'm actually going to, because
yeah, I feel like that on Nessus. I feel like
yeah,
Nessus feels
Nessus
very
is bad for
jumbly
that
as
because it's
well.
also huge.
Yeah.
And then I
And
get there,
it's
I'm
like
like, oh yeah, this part.
the architecture feels very same. And that's what
Yeah.
he said. He recognized that with some of the old Destiny designs, like Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 designs,
Mm.
that it all some of these places feel very samey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're with growing and moving and updating areas and sunsetting areas and vaulting areas and bringing in new areas. They're trying to refresh a
Just
lot of
trying to
that
like
for the
refine it.
community and make it
Yeah.
feels fresh and refined and distinguished and distinctible, so
Yeah.
that no matter where you are on a location, you know where you are because it feels like it's got a feel.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think Witch Queen is kind of a step into that development and art theory and art style that
Yeah.
their new team is starting to bring in.
Yeah. This does feel like, I mean, it's an annual expansion, but it does feel like a big step in a number of ways because they keep talking about it being this like quote boiling point for their narrative strategy. You know, whether that's the seasonal approach that they've been taking. I think it was in this article that he was talking about. You know, the seasons used to be just here's a story thread for this season, and then it kind of goes away at the end of the season. Whereas this is like they're talking about building stuff years in advance, story wise, and trying to have them overlap and intertwine. And this is kind of like a big coming together of a lot of them.
I think we keep going back to this analogy and this comparison and metaphor quite a lot, but it feels like the most relevant and modern example, which is I feel like they want this moment and then Lightfall to feel like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah,
that they've
yeah,
been pre-planning this build up for nearly a decade now, and this is it. This is the Infinity War,
yeah.
and Lightfall is the end game. Like this is where we hit the pinnacle of what they've been working on for the better half of a decade at this point. Like
Yeah.
this is the crescendo. Like and I think the way he spoke in this article, he was really aware of that. He was like, look, this is the art and the energy of this expansion needs to match the gravity of the story that we've been building behind it for the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it.
what is it? 7 years of Destiny 2? 5 years
Yeah,
of Destiny
something
2?
like that. It
But
also.
then also D1, because there's threads in
Yeah.
D1 that linked to this as well. People have started uncovering, being like, huh,
Yeah,
there's
I remember
definitely a
this.
reference. Huh.
Yeah.
Especially when you go back and watch like Bife videos and
Oh.
stuff, you're like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, they have been kind of hinting at this since D1, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say is that it also feels like it reflects the nature of Bungie as a business, right? That they can feel so secure, for lack of a better word, of like they know that people are enjoying the game, they've got enough money and independence to kind of take what are quite big swings. Like it's quite an ambitious move to be, you know, pitching these shots story-wise years in advance and then going, we'll tie it up later. And they're just kind of like, weaving that narrative as we go. They're in that story loom. They're in the loom. They're in the loom. But yeah, it's I don't know, in a way nice to see, because they've always kind of had that ambition, but it feels like, but whether it was like them trying to get out of Microsoft or it was the Activision shit, like they're always kind of held back or restricted in some way, or just like fenced in for, I've never worked there. I don't know people that do, but that's at least how it's felt from the outside. It's like, I can see what they're going for, but there's just something missing. And this, to me, does start to feel like, okay, this is Bungie. Like, this is the kind of shit they've been trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, from day one, even because I worked at a video game retailer when D1 came out, even back then, it was like my coworkers and I, we got home, we started playing Destiny about a week or two into D1. We were just like, this is a fucking ambitious game. Like, this is massive. Like,
yeah.
it's very, for the time, it was super innovative.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, this is a big fucking game. And then they started bringing out expansions, and it just felt more and more kind of ambitious. And then D2 came out, and it felt very, it sounds terrible saying it, but it's like, I fell off it for a reason, but it's like, it felt empty. And I feel like that's where a lot of the rhetoric of there's nothing to do in Destiny 2, the game, blah, 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 comes from, is because they might have made a few unfortunate business decisions to get D2 off the ground and get it up and running, and they were restrained, and they weren't able to do a lot, and it was detrimental to the launch of this game. I won't lie. Like, the first part of when it first dropped, and then one of the first expansions was very like, oh.
Yeah.
But now, after, even in the lead up to Beyond Light, I was like, this feels like D1 again. Like, it feels big and heavy and weighty and fleshed out and super ambitious, but also there's just so much heart in the stories that they're telling as well, and in the game, and you can tell this is a company that cares. Like, they really care about this. This is their baby. Like, and reading this article, I got the same thing where I was like, yo, this feels like the lead up to Crota. Like, it feels like Oryx and Crota, and it feels like that again.
I mean,
which
it's
is
in that
really
wheelhouse, right?
Me.
Like,
yeah,
that's that family.
but it's like, it feels the energy and like the, oh fuck, what the fuck, like the twists and like the excitement building behind it, and the curiosity is just like, it feels like that again, and it's really exciting as a long-term player to have that feeling back.
Yeah, there was one little line from Joe Blackburn in this where he was saying, like, people are thinking about the Leviathan from Taken King, and how, they're talking about the size of Throne World, blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, we're talking about like how good it is. But they're saying, like, people want to talk about the Leviathan. No, not Leviathan. What was it?
Dreadnought?
No. It was Dreadnought. Not the Leviathan. Dreadnought from Taken King. That was full of secrets, and then it kind of hinted, like, this will have those. This will have like secrets fucking all over the place.
We're dealing with the god of deception.
Right?
Like, there's gonna be some fuckery afoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. And then they also started to chat about, and he said he didn't want to talk too much about it, obviously for reasons, because it's such a big thing, but the Hive Guardians.
Yeah.
And he said, without like getting into it too much, the only comparison I can really make is think of it like when you first met wyverns.
Yeah.
And they were like a big, meaty, heavy-hitting adversary.
Yeah.
Where you were forced to change your play style, or forced to change the way you approached.
Dude, Briggs as
wyverns
well.
And Briggs were terrifying.
Remember
in the
that,
beginning
like,
of Beyond Light?
Early mission in Beyond Light where that Brig drops right in front of your face? I remember
That's
doing
so
that
cool.
like day one in a fire team with 3 people, and it showed up as a thing that we were not supposed to be able to kill, basically. It was like so far past where we were.
I think I was in that fire team.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I, at the exact same time, I think it was you, we both went, uh-oh.
Yeah, like it took us a while to bring that thing down because we just started playing.
Yeah.
That shit was
So he
brutal.
he kind of run the parallel between like
Mm,
the Hive Guardians are going to feel like wyverns in the aspect that they are going to be this big, meaty, hard hitting
yeah,
adversary, and they are going to have to kind of. He said you're expected to change the way you play.
interesting.
So, and then he went on after that to say that like it's not going to be like when champions first started getting introduced.
Yeah,
It was match type, so you just have to pop the shield and
stun
match the
them. Yeah,
subclass. He was like, no, this is going to feel like when you first started to run into wyverns, where it is going to. We
yeah,
expect you to have to change the way you play to
yeah,
get these enemies down. And I was
yeah.
like, oh. Wyverns and Briggs in Beyond Light were fucking
Dude,
terrifying for the
even
first few
even now
weeks.
in the wrong context, I'm not excited when they
Yeah.
drop in. Like I honestly expected it to go that way of like, that moment when you first drop a wyvern or a brig and you're like, how do I deal with this? I
It came up as a what was it, a red bar with a yellow bar with a skull next to it, and you're
yeah.
like, excuse me?
Yeah, I'll see you in
Excuse me?
40 minutes when we're done with this. Yeah, like I expected them to chase that vibe with that, at least that first Hive Guardian reveal, maybe until you get close to the power level for one of those things, which is kind of exciting because like that first week of Beyond Light, when we had a bunch of us in the server just pounding the game for a week straight, trying to power level, coming up against shit that we were underleveled for, which coming off of Season of Arrivals, a long season, and we were overleveled for everything. That felt really fucking refreshing and helped make that grind a lot easier of like, yo, this shit is exciting. We're finding all this new shit. It's hard as fuck. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and Europa was just so well done too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love you. It's honestly like Europa is my favorite location still to date. I really love it.
yeah, yeah.
It
I
just
think,
felt so different because we'd been so, and this is what I mean, we'd been so overexposed to green, brown, and grey,
yeah,
grungy, icky, yucky post-apocalypse, and then we were given this like it has its post-apocalypse elements with like Braytech and stuff like that.
it's more just derelict buildings.
Yeah, but it was like like icy and
Mm,
bright, and heavy on a lot of blues and greens with pops of red of like the lava under the ice, and
mm.
then once you do DSC, spoiler warning, you get um space junk falling
Yeah, that was very cool.
intermittently.
Like, I mean, they've done that before with raids. Like Last Wish had that was where the curse in the Dreaming City came from. Was like as soon as the raid is beaten for the first time, this new thing happens for every player. But man, that was cool because that was when like the stasis empowered area of Europa became a thing, and you could just run in there with a stasis subclass and go ham, which is real nice if you were like grinding out stasis based quests, for example.
And that felt fun, and then like the whole lament quest opened
Oh
up, and that
god,
felt fun, seeing Braytech's big goofy head, like
yeah,
photoshopping my dog over the top of
that
Braytech's head.
yeah, I still love that.
Like fork.
Dog like judgment. Yeah, that's the one.
The first time we beat DSC, I had Sergey in my lap.
Yes, true. He's a good
He's my
boy.
dog for context.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and I'm excited for that because like since Beyond Light, I'm like that was such a fantastic, positive experience, not
Mm,
only in game but then also for our friend group, like our clan.
yeah.
Like I'll always look back really fondly on launch week of Beyond Light
Mm,
and then DSC day one, like
yeah.
the very fond memories. And I'm excited to build those more of those memories in this as well. And it
Yeah.
looks like they're doing enough to keep it fresh and challenging. And
Yeah. I mean, we've got a legendary campaign. Yeah, I think we
a
said this
week of
last time. We don't know if that's dropping day one, but that is still really fucking interesting that they're doing that.
really fun. Yeah.
Because also, like Blackburn called it out in this article, he was like, "Look, we need to have the thing that is going to work for everyone, but we also need the thing that is going to cater to those hardcore players that are coming in with a bunch of gear already, right? So yeah, I'm very excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah. And I feel like the first week of Witch Queen is just going to be us yelling about how cool shit is, like we did for
Dude,
Beyond Light.
So like, I guess context for the viewers. In our Discord server, we have this channel. What did I call it? The Spoiling City, where like it's marked as an NSFW channel, so you have to like click a button to get into it in the first place, and then every message in it has to be spoiled, just to avoid the risk. You know, it's 2 layers of protection. I expect that channel to be very busy in that first week as people are uncovering things. But it's also the danger of like, I don't know if I should unspoiler this message because I don't know if that person's ahead of me. I don't know what they've seen.
Yeah, that's why I now lately when I've been posting in like for Dares of Eternity and stuff, I would give context clues before my spoiler, so you kind of knew what the spoiler, because I was having the same issue where I did something in the 30th anniversary and I was like, oh, I've done the thing, but it wasn't the thing. And I clicked on it and got Grasp.
There were like 4 or 5 different things. Yeah.
Fuck. Grasp kind of spoiled for me and accidentally got the cool new Warlock armor spoiled for me, and I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, I think we might have to like come up with some new rules around, or like
context clues.
Yeah, just like how to slightly spoil but not spoil. Just like, here's what I think I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Please tread lightly.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's just going to be a week of us screaming about stuff, because we do that as well. Like every time a trailer comes out, I feel like everyone notices something different from the trailers, and then we kind of come back as the council.
Yeah.
And kind of like, did you see this thing? Yeah.
But it's like, remembering back to that Beyond Light launch week, and you know, we're doing the intro to the campaign, we're doing those early missions, there's a lot of cutscenes, a lot of very interesting elements happening in those cutscenes. I remember a lot of us hitting the deafen button in Discord so that our microphones are dead and we're not hearing other people, and we're just immersing ourselves in those cutscenes and just letting the lore flow over. That part is actually always fun to me, because then like I'll go back into the voice chat and I'll hear people come and be like, is anyone there? Did you see that? Huh? And it's like, and then when we're all in, she's like, oh my God. Yeah, you know, that whole reaction is very fun. I enjoy that very much. You
guys got the benefit of being able to do it, because I had server issues. So it took me 40 minutes after you guys got in to get in. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump out. And you guys were like, no, stay.
I mean, and then look, we were in, but even then it was like kind of dicey. Can we load this mission? Yes or no every time.
Yeah. So for the Varric scene, you guys got to hear me fucking lose my shit about him coming back and then promptly getting his arm ripped off and me just getting real fucking
getting frozen from the waist down.
I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I was so angry.
Yeah, can I have that arm?
But we had those moments too the first time we did DSC.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the moment we went to go do the spacewalk.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
You were straight up just like, everyone mute, deafen and mute, and just do the walk.
Yeah, like I knew enough going in that we all needed to not hear other people during that, because you've got like Clovis Bray spouting his bullshit. You've got to date, in my opinion, the best piece of music they've put out within Destiny. Like, just contextually, tonally, for where that fits in that raid, for the like the dip before the rise that is, you know, the next raid encounter, having come out of Atrax, for us, took us over 9 hours on day one. We didn't even beat it. So it's like this incredibly tense moment, this very chill fucking ambient scene, and it's straight back into nukes. It is so masterfully executed. And like the Grasp of Avarice track, close second.
Pirates of the Caribbean to Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I've established myself on this podcast as a crier. I cry. And I remember unmuting and us getting ready for nukes and everyone being like, you okay, Meckii? I'm like, yeah, I was bawling the
Yeah.
first time we did the space jump. I don't know what it was, but like the moment that first like piano note hit, just tears.
So like not
You look out
only
over space and Europa, and then those keynotes, the first three keynotes hit, and I don't know what it was, but it was just tears. Like my partner at the time like popped his head around the door and was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah."
having a moment.
Tears streaming down my face, and it's like I even have moments now where like DSC will come on and
Yeah.
I'll be sitting there, I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like it's got those memories attached to it, right? And like I've had that sensation with pieces of music because I've just like found them impactful or beautiful or something in a way that hits me in a very deep place. That has like all these layers to it of like, not only is it like just a very good piece of music, but the way it's used and all the sound design in that encounter, it's just perfection.
Yeah.
I would fight anyone that doesn't like it.
It's probably the wrong term because of its associations with it, but it's like I know they're going to try and chase the dragon with that moment again with the next raid, but like I don't want it to feel forced. I want it to have that same kind of the only way I could describe it was like those piano notes hit, you're looking out over Europa, Clover starts to talk, and it was like for me it was like goosebumps, warm, and then tears.
And then
like
dread, because Clovis won't shut up.
I felt everything. And it's like, even now, even we do drunk DSC runs and super scuffed DSC runs where we're all a little, I'll use the word because I can, we're all a little bit manic. I still get those goosebumps when those doors open every single time. It's like there are moments where I'm like, well, I know we've done this a million times, but I'm gonna definite mute just for the jumping puzzle.
It's like there's a couple of spots they do this, but in Grasp of Avarice where they bring in a couple of D1 musical motifs, and like that first spot when
trumpet.
You're coming out of that cave and you've got that glimpse out over the Cosmodrome, and there's just like that initial trumpet line from a piece of D1 music, and like I've got that shit on vinyl. Like I don't know it super well, like I know some of the more recent stuff, but I know that shit well enough to be like, yo, hold up. And like, I remember that first Grasp run I did with a couple of people. I just like I stopped. I was like, I'm gonna sit here. I don't know if I triggered something. I don't know if there's more to this, but I was like, I just need to see this scene and hear the sound and not do anything else for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it was like when you took me through on my first run, I was completely spoiler free.
Right.
And then you heard me when we come to that bit and you look out over the Cosmodrome and it plays the trumpets, and I think all I said to you was, fuck.
Yeah. And I knew exactly what you meant.
Because I had that moment where I was like, oh god, this is like, I don't know, for me it had that energy of like, I'm a huge, you can't see it, but I have a massive PlayStation 1 piece dedicated to the game Medieval. And I have that same kind of twang of nostalgia when I started up the remake of it, and it had that opening harpsichord notes before you go into the main menu. And it was the same, it was that weird nostalgic, like it's nostalgic, it's familiar, but it's also very new.
Yeah.
And it just like it hit, and I think all you heard on the mic was, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's like if anyone ever does, if anyone does something with the main Halo theme, I will die. Like I will probably start weeping depending on how good it is. Like that one I think we spoke about on the 30th anniversary when they did it in front of, it might have been around then. They did it in front of the Sydney Opera House with like Aboriginal musicians and live small orchestra set. And I was just like, no, it was the Microsoft 20th anniversary. That's what it was, or the Xbox 20th anniversary. That shit ruined me for a good 5 to 10 minutes because I was like, the nostalgia is being hit, but it's also different in some way, but in a way that I really appreciate with where I am right now. And it was just, it got me.
Yeah, I had something similar once again with DSC where Dr. Lupo did the raid run through with the live orchestra in front of him,
Right.
and they were playing the music along to
Like
his
to him where he was up
raid.
to. Yeah, shit.
Yeah,
I
and
never
they get up
watched that.
to. You should. I'll resend it to you. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They get up to the spacewalk bit, and he's just got the goofiest big smile on his face.
God.
And then after, like a little bit into it, after the Clover Spray monologue, he's like, "I'm gonna cry."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sitting here like,
I'm almost crying imagining doing that myself. Like,
yeah,
because
like
you would feel like you made it happen because you're playing and then this orchestra fucking kicks in.
yeah, like I
Right.
mean, you're also talking to the girl who went and saw the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra,
Yeah.
and I bawled for probably 90% of the show to the point a woman behind me got a packet of tissues out of her handbag and handed them. I was a wreck. I was fucked. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, if you would have seen me, you would have thought I've come back from a funeral. I was like red. My makeup was all down my face.
Yeah.
Like I rubbed all of my eyeliner off. Like, yeah. So it's like, they've been building, and in the last expansion and the last couple of set pieces, they've been doing these moments that people like you and I are sitting here gushing over.
Yeah.
And it was a year ago.
Yeah. I will continue to get fucked. Deep Stone Lullaby still whips.
It still fucking whips. Giving a techno version of TSC Lullaby. Hell yeah.
Trap remix. I don't know if I like that.
I want.
Okay. You know the Empty Tank Lost Sector and the Tangled Shore, where there's the like banjo version of the main Destiny theme. I want that treatment for Deep Stone Lullaby. I want the banjo bluegrass version.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what that is.
Really. Yeah, my brain just kind of like.
Okay.
You know when they show you that picture and they say this is what a stroke feels like, and you can't differentiate anything in the picture? I think my brain just did that trying to figure out what that sounds like.
Oh man. To try and bring things back on topic. So talking about the music and hoping they don't just try and chase the Deep Stone Lullaby dragon. I have seen a few people that work at Destiny tweeting about how good the music is with Witch Queen, and that they can't wait for people to hear it and see how they react. But I think they were talking more about the campaign shit and just like the general music as opposed to like, a moment in a raid or something. So it feels like they're just starting to get those wheels turning of like, here's how good this music can actually be though.
Yeah. And that's it too. Like I want another moment that kind of, I mean, they wanted it with Cade, but for a lot of people it didn't feel. A lot of people it did feel like that, but also a lot of people. I want that moment that feels like a metaphorical like kick in the chest.
Yes.
I want that big moment. Like I want that certain deaths in. It's an ancient film at this point, but like that death in a movie, kick in the chest, kind of that impactful moment. Because we've done the meaningful kind of nostalgic moments, and we've done the DSC moment where it's more of like a really just innovative and touching set piece.
Yeah.
So like I personally and I'm not going to obviously hedge my bets on it, but like on my little wish list, I want that kick in the chest. I want that big catharsis, I guess. I want that painful moment.
It has to be something with Osiris.
I want that catharsis of like a painful moment. Like, yes, I cry every time I see the Cade scene whenever I rerun that campaign. Yes, it upsets me greatly. I cry. What I do. At the same time, it's like I want that big thing. I want that kick in the chest. I want that emotional release, because I feel like emotionally under the surface, they have been building up to something. Like something that's gonna fucking hurt, and that's it, right? Like it's just my feeling. Other people might feel differently. It might become a triumph story. Maybe it'll be a really touching moment, which I'll also settle for because we'll cry.
Yeah.
But like I want that impactful like kick in the chest.
Do a series of law book readings in which we both cry.
Even if it's not in Witch Queen, maybe in Lightfall. I just want that. I want something to just fucking wreck me, like rock my world, like just
tweet at Joe Blackburn. Hey
destroy
fam,
me emotionally,
fuck me
daddy.
up.
Destroy me emotionally, Destiny Daddy, please.
Step on my whittle heart.
Fuck me up like my real family did.
Oh my god.
Cause some trauma.
Oh, this is getting weird.
I want you to rock my world so hard with this story that it causes intergenerational trauma.
You did not.
Immigrant girl.
Oh, fuck. It's getting weird.
I want that. That's what I want from Witch Queen.
Okay.
I want to cry my makeup off on stream.
Okay. Doable. You don't even need Destiny for that.
True. Just play Infamous Second Son again.
Interesting pull. Okay, so I think we've kind of...
I think
my brain broke. I think we've kind of covered the stuff we wanted to cover out of the article.
Yeah. And I think it made really great leeway to kind of us gushing about Destiny again.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. But we do need to roast you a little bit. Just to take a real hard left turn. I don't know if I can work out some visual aids for this, but we need to talk about your quest inventory. You said, let me see.
Context for how my secret was revealed?
No, all I'm going to say to set this up is yesterday in the chat for the notes for this show, you set yourself a new challenge called Quest of Quests, which is clearing your quest log before Witch Queen, starting with 34?
Yeah.
All I have to say is, what the actual fuck? I have 2. One of them is the Cryesthesia Catalyst quest.
So I have 4 pages of quests. Some of them going back as far as... I'm now looking at a different screen because I decided to open it so I could get the statistics.
Yeah, good.
So some of my quests go as far back as Corsair Down.
Oh, I just delete those at this point. They don't give you anything.
And Shadowkeep. So I have the Essence of Failure, Essence of Insanity, Essence of Greed stuff.
I'll give you amnesty on those because those still just pop up sometimes if you're doing stuff on the moon. I still get some of those if I'm doing moon stuff.
I still have to complete the Beyond mission in Shadowkeep.
Well, the last mission. The one that gives you the Shadowkeep exotic.
So, for context...
You have one character. How have you not done that?
So for context, I was in the server with, we can mention him now, Alex. And I said, I'm bored. I don't really know what to do because I've been doing this thing lately where day 1 I go and get all my pinnacles, and then I
day 1 of a weekly reset.
Yeah. I bounty stack. And then I usually jump on another clan member and pop all my bounty stacking. And then depending on what they're up for, I might do Gambit or something. So I tend to leave stuff like Gambit and Mayhem. For Mayhem week, I always leave those 2 pinnacles to last because people are always looking for someone to do it with.
Sure.
But I'd done all that. And we were just kind of sitting in the tower, and I was like, oh man, I'm I don't know what to do. And he was like, oh, well, what quests do you have? Thinking maybe I had maybe one
catalyst quest, right?
Pick
a weapon, let's go.
One from last season, and maybe some of the Splicer stuff because I was
to be fair, the Splicer Gauntlet, the Hammer of Proving,
that kind of shit.
I deleted those from my inventory because I wasn't using them, and the ether constantly flying at my face. I was tired of the jizz clouds, if I'm honest. So they're gone. I can pick them up if I need them, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. And then also like seasonals. Don't even ask me what my seasonals look like. It's not good. So I told him, and he said, "What?" So I Snapchatted it to him
Yeah,
and
I
said,
saw that snap.
"What my quest page looks like." And instantly, the entire clan was like, "What the fuck do you do?" And the answer is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with Destiny.
Yep.
I have, and ironically, Saint is my favorite character, and here's why. I have the brain of a pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
If I see something that's interesting, I will forget what I'm doing and go do that. So I have a lot of half-done quests and storylines because a public event will start, or I'll drop a catalyst and then go and do the catalyst.
You would give up quest progress for a fucking public event?
Or I see this. I have a lot of stuff in the Dreaming City because what happens is I start these quests and then I see something and I get distracted. So I spend a lot
I know
of my
that about
time,
you, but I didn't know it was this bad.
I spend a lot of time spelunking basically in the Dreaming City because I'll see like a cat and be like, "Oh, I've got to go feed the cat." And then that leads me down a rabbit hole of like, where are the other kitties? I need to go find the other kitties.
Right. I mean, there is a triumph to track that.
It's not even anything important. It's not even like the penguin where you could get a cool penguin and a lore book with it.
There was a weekly update. So like we were all trying to get it. So we'd be like, "Hey, new penguin just dropped. Get in there."
Yeah, like let's fire team up and go get this penguin. Yeah. Like, let's get this pang-tang. Yeah, no, literally, I see something shiny and I get distracted.
Okay. I'm going to need you right now to give me a sample of the kind of quests you still need to finish. I mean, and the viewers at home, because I'm sure at this point they're also dying.
Like, typical ADD brain where if it's not interesting or I get bored, I just stop doing it.
Right.
Like, there are missions where I've literally gotten up in the middle of the mission and just walked away from my computer and like gone and listened to music or like.
And then you just get timed out to orbit?
Yeah, or like I've gone to pee and then just laid down on my bed and started scrolling through like YouTube or something. Or like YouTube on my other monitor will be auto playing stuff and that video will seem more interesting than the quest I'm doing. Okay. So I'll stop doing the quest.
Okay. This is a lot of stalling. Please tell me what quests we're talking about.
Unfiltered AD.
What have you got on the first page? What have you got? Let's start there.
I've got the Cryptolith Lure, which I haven't completed like all the leveling on that yet.
I don't think you need to at this point, but go on.
The Hammer of Proving, haven't done anything on that, got bored, don't like Idol, sick of her voice.
Fair.
I've got the Warrior Quest.
What is that?
It's to get thermal.
The what?
It's to get thermal erosion.
Oh, it's a like Europa weapon quest?
Yeah.
How are you not just passively completing these by doing other things?
I've got 9 kitty treats left. I still got to find some more kitties.
That's like the other quest in my inventory is I've got 9 treats to give out and I'm just not going to. But I keep dropping them.
You're going to hate this one.
Yeah.
Oh, a hollow coronation.
Wait, what is that?
Aegir's Scepter.
Do you not have Aegir's Scepter?
No.
It's basically a free exotic.
I hate the astral alignments.
Oh my god, that's such a low bar to get a pretty decent exotic. Oh my god. Keep
and
going.
I'm only on step 7 out of 12 for that.
Fuck. Okay, please keep going. Please hurt me more.
War to Come, which is Iron Banner shit.
Whatever.
I'm on step 2 out of 3 of revision 7.22, which is the Lorenz driver catalyst.
That's okay. Like if you don't use it. It's fine, I guess.
Still have to do Path of the Slicer. I haven't done Expunge Delphi yet.
What were you doing for all of these seasons? I
Um,
don't know what to do with my hands.
Overrides. If it was Season of the Splicer, I was in the Elixir Quarter fucking around.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
Because I realized every time you speak to an Elixir with babies on the back, all the babies chirp and wave, and I was just like, this is my life
That's
now.
4 hours
Going
right
in
there.
circles.
Yeah, I get it.
Going in circles. I have Stasis Trigger. I've got the Legacy Splicer Gauntlet.
Yeah, fine. Those legacy seasonal stuff you could ignore.
Umbral Flames for memory fragments, but I've got all the stasis aspects, so...
How do you, you said you just like picked up an extra quest? Right.
I've got Empire Hunt 2.
What?
I've got Darkness in the Light, which is the Corrupted mission.
Oh my god. It's getting worse.
A whole bunch of Umbral stuff. Like Umbral Schemes, Umbral Plunder.
Umbrals suck. Don't worry about it.
European Protector 3, European Explorer, European Gear.
You mean European, right?
Yes.
Right. Are those the like sabotage quests that you get from Varix? Am I thinking of something else?
It's the stuff that you have to do wearing at least 4 pieces of Crystocrene armor.
Right. Yep.
I've got the Soon Catalyst. So
What?
I don't have no time to explain Catalyst.
That's such a good pulse rifle though, for someone who likes pulse rifles.
I don't like that pulse rifle that much.
Yeah, but what if you paired it with your favorite Arc Souls and then you never have to shoot your own gun again?
Look, I get by on the bare minimum, but not that bare of a minimum.
Okay.
I can actually play this game.
Yeah, you can shoot. You can click.
I choose not to.
Okay.
Let's see.
Wow.
Blast from the Past, so I still don't have Chaperone. Strikes in Your Sight, so I still don't have Adored. Which is a really good sniper, so I should probably get it, because I do like snipers.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the legacy stuff I told you about, like the Essences of Greed and...
Yeah.
I don't have Walk the Line.
Just... Man.
The Duality.
Okay.
Which is like, that's a Johnny Cash reference, so why I didn't do that, I don't know.
So you've got 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of these things are going to go away when Witch Queen drops.
Well, that's what Alex said. He was like, I don't know how much of this shit is going to get vaulted, so you should probably just try and do as much as possible.
Yeah, like
make
obviously
sure that you don't lose out on anything.
Ignore the legacy seasonal stuff, like the hammer and the gauntlet and all that. Yeah. You should get Aega's Scepter. You should at least get the exotics. You don't necessarily need the catalyst, because also like the Aega's Scepter catalyst is moving to playlist activities in terms of drops, so you won't need to do an astral alignment to get the catalyst, which is good for you because it was a random drop out of astrals. So you might have had to do like 20 of them and then still not got it.
But yeah, so the answer
is a fucking nightmare.
Me. I have been described as a nightmare on more than one occasion.
As like someone who historically in our clan has organized a lot of our raid efforts, especially day ones, I can't believe I didn't know this. But it also explains a few things.
Usually,
like, not trying to throw shade, but it really explains a few things.
Usually when I'm doing something and you guys are like, hey, Meckii, what are you doing? And I go, oh, stuff and things. I've probably just been running around for 25, 30 minutes doing fucking nothing.
Or you dropped a shader. You dropped a new shader and you're knees deep in the transmog system. Completely changing your look.
It's like, how many times have you guys been like, all right, you ready to go? And I'm like, no, give me a second. I just need to fix something. And literally all it is a shader. I need to put the stag back on. Give me a second.
Oh, my fucking brain hurts. Trying to work this out.
I used to, Here's the thing, though. And you guys thought I was just being, I guess, hyperbolic or like just doing a weird self-read when I kept joking that like I just skate by. Destiny, I literally just skate by. Like,
yeah, we're gonna have to have a talk later. I don't know how much longer this is gonna work for you.
unless something piques my interest, it's just like I said, it's unfiltered adult ADHD.
Okay.
Unless something piques my interest, like an exotic or a piece of armor piques my interest, I have absolutely no interest in it.
Okay.
I need that motivation and that discipline to actually go chase the thing. Aegir's Scepter's never really, like, been my shit, and even looking at other people using it, I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking use that. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go to the moon and kill things with Thorn, because it makes me giggle. Honestly, killing things with Thorn is a lot of fun.
Honestly, part of me envies that of you. Like, I'm at the point where the only exotic weapons I don't have are a couple of raid, actually specifically 3 raid exotics, and that is just RNG at this point. But I have all the other ones, and I have a really, at times, crippling collectionist brain of like, well, I've got this much of the collection, there's a new thing, I've got to go get it. And so every season where there's like a new round of exotic armor that drops out of Lost Sectors, I've got to go and get those.
I don't have a collector's brain in any sense of the word.
I'm getting that impression.
It's like there are certain things that I will avoid because I know I will fall down a rabbit hole, like just IRL. There are certain things that I will not buy one of because I know I need many of. As you know, my weakness is art toys. I'm a collector when it comes to that. But like,
would you like to see my rapidly growing Magic the Gathering collection?
Yeah, nothing like that really. Like, I collect Pokemon cards, but it's only to get the cards that I like. The rest
would you like to see?
The rest I could not give a fuck about. I give them to my cousins, like my little cousins.
Yeah.
But like the Mimikyu card and the Mew card, yeah, I'll keep buying. I have very specific interests and things I like. I collect knives. The end. Dead things.
The Gabe Newell approach.
I collect knives and dead things. Like, but yeah, it's just someone made a comparison the other day that said that in real life, like, just to use the Powerpuff Girls for example.
Okay.
In real life, I'm Buttercup. I'm like that hyper aggressive tomboy kind of edgy kind of. That's my sense of humor. It's very abrupt. It's very dark. But then in game, I'm Bubbles, where I kind of just float around mindlessly, like la 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 la, and still manage to come out the other side unscathed.
Having won a battle somehow. God, that's so apt.
But I'm also at the other end of the scale where I break down everything in my vault, and then you guys go, "Do you have a rocket launcher?" And I go, "Uh-oh." I broke it down.
Yeah, I think, like, okay, so that's the one part I think where you might make use of some sort of collectionist behavior is at least having one of everything.
I have started cataloging my vault now when I go in to empty it. If I've got four of a Ayasaluna, for example, I will look at the rolls and the stats, and I will lock the one I want to keep.
Yeah.
So I started locking things so I stop accidentally breaking them down.
Locking is the power play. I'm kind of at that point.
That is the thing you've encountered a lot with me, where I'm like, yeah, I have a bow with this and this. I'll go get it.
You don't.
Oh shit! I broke it down.
Yeah. No, that's something I do need to do with my vault, because before they announced the 1350 power floor, I started hoarding drops that I got at 1330 to like boost up things that I didn't use as frequently. So I've got a bunch of weapons at 1330 that are not rolls I would ever use. But it was like, okay, maybe I drop something that I want to quickly push up because it dropped at like 1320, or it's a piece of armor, same situation. But what that means is I've got a lot of duplicate purples that are garbage and I will never use and never need because everything's going up to 1350. And I've got, like, my Adored, for example, is at 1212 power. And I was fucking around in, might have been Mayhem last week, just like, I'm going to try and get like some sniper kills in Crucible and try to like start the learning process of snipers in PvP because I don't know how to do that well. And then I started thinking, oh, I need to boost this up to 1330. And then my brain went, no, idiot, you don't need to do that. If you wait a month, it'll just be 1350. Who gives a shit?
I fell into the same trap, which is why the other day I had to sit down and actually work out my vault and critically look at my vault because I had so many 1330s and I was just like...
So the thing that this made me realize, and so what I did is I went to dim in the search bar. There's like a query that you can use, which is basically like is dupe, and then it will highlight any items that are duplicates of other things you have somewhere else. I think I had 4 copies of Xenophage, maybe at least 3, because I got lazy when we were doing a lot of raid runs when Xeno was still a 120 RPM. I just made a copy, boosted it to max power, put it on each of my 3 characters. I did that with a couple of exotics. Anarchy was another one because of Breach and Clear. Instead of just having one and then moving it around, I had multiples. And that kind of fucked me when I realized I had 2 Trinity Ghouls, both of which had about 4,000 or 5,000 kills on the kill tracker, and I had to delete one of them.
No.
Like I got all those pieces, like I got a bunch of materials back, but it was stupid. I never should have done that. And I've got a bunch of weapons I just need to go and break down at this point.
Oh, yay, more gunsmith materials.
Yeah, I need to schedule a stream like every Destiny 2 content creator where I go and turn those all in for stuff that I will then break down into more gunsmith materials. A
vicious cycle.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to see how long that stream goes. I've also got like Zavala, Shax, Gunsmith, Drifter. They've all got engrams that I need to pick up. Some of them are in like the 20s and 30s and I just haven't. I might as well because I might get some enhancement cores out of it. I might get materials out of the weapons that turn into more weapons that turn into enhancement cores. It's a whole, yeah. I think I'm going to need a whole day. Just set up my 8-hour stream, big old thing of coffee next to me, let it rip.
Well, I watched Pacific Rim last night, and then all I did while I was watching it was hand in gunsmith materials, just mindlessly.
All right.
All I did last night. I spent 2 hours on Destiny. I think one of it was getting my strike pinnacles and my strike bounties, stacking those. So tonight or maybe tomorrow I can jump in and pop them on someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, it was just looking between Pacific Rim and every time I heard a bounty proc, an engram proc, grab that, then go back and then go to the postmaster, grab all my blues and my purples, have a look at the rolls on them, break the ones I didn't want down. And I just ran in circles in the tower. And I wasn't the only one because there was a couple of other Guardians there too who were doing the laps back and forth from Banshee and the postmaster.
We almost need like an emote that everybody understands is the like, you're doing the gunsmith rotation, I see.
Just a Guardian holding up gunsmith pieces.
Or is there one that is like a blacksmith working on an anvil? Like something
Probably
like that.
Something like that. Disassembling and reassembling a gun like they do in the military.
Basic bitch blue emote that everybody has.
Yeah, just like you know how those military jarheads do the speed run of like assembling and disassembling their weapons. Yeah. Just an emote that's that of someone just speed running disassembling their weapons.
That would actually be pretty funny. I'd be into that. Okay. I think that's everything we have for this week.
Yeah.
I now just have so many more questions about you as a person, but we're going to get to that off air, I think. So yeah, this has been Erico Blueberry. We're going to get out of here.
I have quests to do.
You have quests. I have questions. I have air conditioning.
Yes, I have quest.
I have air conditioning I need to turn back on before my thighs stick to this chair.
I put tracksuit pants on to record and it's 32 degrees today.
Big idiots, both of us. Please hit us with the like and subscribe and the comment and all the doohickeys and the whatnots. You know the drill.
Social media tings in it.
That's it. It'll be in the description below. You can find us on the internet at those URLs. I know you're trying to do a bit more streaming. I'm also toying with the idea at the moment. It's more an issue of time for me, but
Time and energy.
Yes. I mean, I've got the energy. It's just more, I sit down in here, I play some Destiny, and it's like, oh shit, it's 10 o'clock. I can't make too much noise. People are going to bed in this house. But it'll happen.
We'll try and do another weekend stream, dual stream.
Yes. Maybe, I don't know, gunsmith material. But we'll
Catalysts.
Look, I need to grind out like 20 something kills with Cryesthesia in the Crucible to get that thing finished. That's going to take me fucking, at this rate, 3 months. So we could do that. We can make that work. But yeah, until next week, we will see you then. As we continue the countdown to Witch Queen.
Mm.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.